All right, so I'm a firm believer in the emptying before we fill. So whatever that looks like for you, you could come into a seat, you could come onto your back, you could be on your back doing some slight movement, some easy movement. But the idea that um, we have to be empty to fill with the new practice. So sitting quietly for 10 breaths or so, taking some easy movement on your mat, but moving out, dropping out of the headspace and down into the body. So our body has a wisdom that is always present. It is our overthinking minds that make us homeless. So can you come home for a few minutes? Use the anchor of the breath or the body scan to stay in your body. Notice if you feel like you're in a hurry, and you just be present for as long as you can be present. Just 4 more rounds of breath here, increasing the length of the inhale and the exhale. And from here, you can blink your eyes open, lift your gaze. If you've gone to your back, come up to a seat again, and we'll just move through your neck. So turning your gaze over one shoulder and the opposite shoulder. I'm just going to introduce a little context for today. Um, so yeah, just moving through the neck gently. So as I said, we're going to work with some strength and stability. And most of you, all of you are familiar with the concept of proprioception, which is the ability to know where our bodies are in space. And this contributes to stability. Great. So now you could take one ear to the same shoulder. And stability does change as we age. And that can be of great concern as we maybe have fall potential, or we just don't enjoy things the same way. So a couple of things that really contribute to good proprioception are these what we call proprioceptor maps. And two that we work with in yoga all the time. One is the ability of our joints to move freely. Once you've gone side to side with the ears, just take some circles. Circle your head around in one direction and then the other. And the other is contracting the muscles, actually contracting the muscles, right? So we work both these things in yoga all the time. It's the stability, mobility. But this connection, there's this connection of our neurology, the nervous system and the muscular system, which we call neuromuscular action or motor control, right? And that needs to be really strong. So if we can think about mobility is a great word, functional mobility in yoga. We can think about also the ability to have good motor control through joint movement and strength, then we're going to have good stability in our body. Great. Okay. So we're going to come to standing now. And just find Tadasana and move back and forth from your toes to your heels a few times. And then just slow it down enough to feel like when you go forward onto your toes, where do you grip in your body? And when you go back onto your heels, where do you grip in your body? And most likely, if you come forward, you're going to feel some gripping in the front body. If you go lift the toes and go into your back to your heels, you're going to feel gripping in the back body. So find that center point. Find that center point, that balance point, where you're stacked over your bones and your muscles are pretty relaxed. Okay. Great. Okay. Now we're going to take the outer edge. We're going to turn the foot in, take the outer edge of the foot into the mat and just kind of gently press on the outer edge of the foot. Either foot, you can start with either side. And then go to the other foot, turn the toes in, the big toe in, or turn the outer foot out and press on the outer edge of the opposite foot, sort of back and forth a bit. Great. Then open up your stance, bend through one knee and take the inner edge of the foot down. Come back up and repeat that a few times. So inner edge of the foot comes down to the floor. Then go in the other direction. We always really, when we think about stability in our standing postures or our standing activities, which are many, begins with the feet, right? Great. Then we'll come back to center and just point one foot and circle through your ankle. And try to rub your eye at the same time. Wow, that was challenging. Take it in both directions. Good. And then point and flex. If at any point, because we're going to do a bunch of things standing, you need wall space or want wall space for balance, do that. Okay, take that foot back down to the floor. Take the other leg out in front and circle both directions. And then point and flex. And release. Turn sideways to you now. Take one foot forward, one foot back. Put the top of your foot to the floor. Top of your foot to the floor. Foot nice and even, and then just sort of pulse through that. pulsing and just stretching the top of the back foot. Good. Then turn the toes in, so you're stretching more the top outer foot. And then toes out. Come back to center. Opposite foot, straight back. Bend through the front leg. And kind of pulse a little bit. Feel some opening on the top of your foot. And then turn toes out or in, either direction. Just we're going to go inside of the top of the foot, outside the top of the foot. You'll feel some of this up in your lower leg as well, tibialis anterior. Good. Come back to center. You can shake your legs out a bit. Good. Now take right leg out in front and internally rotate the leg, externally rotate the leg. Which one is a little stickier? Whatever one that is for you. For me, it's internal rotation. Keep the leg in that position and make circles out in front of you. Opposite direction. Good. And then come back to resting. Extend the other leg. Internally rotate the leg. Externally rotate the leg. One of those positions is a little bit stickier for you. Pick the one that's stickier for you. For me, it's internal rotation. And then circle that leg. So you can keep your knee from bending here. Going in both directions. Good. And then release. Good. Shake it out. Pick up your right leg, knee no higher than the hip, and just let your lower leg swing back and forth. Notice if it's kind of catchy. We really want the action in the knee here, but there's definitely some stuff going on in the hip. So back and forth, back and forth. Can you speed it up? So side to side is what we're doing. Good. Set that one down. Pick up the opposite leg. So we're the lower leg's going side to side. You might have more availability in the second side. Good. And release. Good. Now just take your hips around in a circle. And the other way. And then come back to center and take your upper body around in a circle. Opposite direction. Come back to center, side bend to the right, bend at the waist, rounding your back, and then pull yourself up on the left side. So kind of a ragdoll action. So side bend to the right, bend at the waist, and come around. Good. Do that a couple times in this direction. When you come back up to center, take a breath, and then side bend in the opposite direction, fold and come around. Side bend, fold, and come around. Come back to center. Might be a little dizzy. Take a little break. 2 breaths or so, and then some cat cows. So inhaling and exhaling around in your back. You can bring your arms forward. Inhaling and exhaling is cat cows standing. See if this can all be in your upper body. And then release. Great. Now let's take the right arm and you're going to circle backwards. Circle the arm backwards and see if you can keep your chest facing forward. Chest faces forward. So the work is in the shoulders. This could be a start to become fatiguing here. Just stick with it. Good. Then we're going to stop it, and then we're going to bring the circle in front of the body. The circle comes in front of the body, so the arms coming forward. You make a circle in front of your body. See if you can really isolate this in your shoulder. Good. Then we'll release that arm and then take the left arm back and around, isolating the movement in your shoulder. Good. And then we make the circle in front of our body. Starting to build a little heat here, should be. Then release that. Bring your fingertips to your shoulders. Take the elbows back and forward. And then start to allow some cat cows to happen with the movement of the elbows. Make it slow enough that you can get some movement in your thoracic spine. Back to center, and now you'll take the elbows one at a time so that there's a twisting action in the torso. Great. And release, shake that out. Bring your hands in front of your face, or front of your chest. And then circle the hands out and back in. So now this is just movement at the elbow joint. Opposite direction. Movement at the elbow. Release, shake that out. And now bring your hands in front of your body with a loose, like a grip, like a motorcycle or bicycle grip. And on your exhale, right, you're gonna extend at the wrists, and on your inhale, flex and come up. So it's down, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, the wrists are flexed. Exhale, the wrists are extended. So you can keep your wrists moving or your hands like in the same plane in front of your body. Good, then we'll stop right here again. And now take the hands out, wrists in, and then wrists out, hands in. So lateral movement. Good. So start to feel a little burn in the forearms. That's good. And then do all of those motions together. So you're taking the wrists around in a circle, going in one direction first. And then in the opposite direction. You know, we spend a lot of time on our hands in yoga, but we don't always take the time to work the wrists. Shake that out. Bring your hands so palms are forward, and then curl from pinky, ring, middle, index, thumb around in a circle. Open up. Pinky, ring, middle, index, thumb in and around. And just keep that going so you can go a little faster. Just working the fingers. Then the next time your palms are forward, take it the opposite direction or opposite way. So start with the thumbs, index, middle, ring, pinky. Thumbs, index, middle, ring, pinky. Whoops. It's kind of hard. Good. One more. Good. And shake out your arms. And then just let your arms move, really big movements as you move back and forth, lifting your heel, opposite heel as you let the arms come one side to the other. Back to center and then out in front. Good. And then across the body. Opposite arm on top each time. Good. And then take your strap and just find that strap behind your lower back, palms in, separating the strap apart, pulling the strap apart and drawing your shoulder blades down and in, squeeze here, firm stance, just pulling. You could take the feet a little wider and come into a forward fold, a little bit of a fold, let gravity help you pull the strap off your back, away from your back. Back up, set the strap over to the side, shake out your arms, back to the feet and the legs. So here, just come up onto your toes and back down to your heels. Just lift the heels and then lower the heels. Lift the heels and lower the heels. Lift the heels. See if you can do it very slowly. Both directions. Very slowly, both directions. And then come to standing with the feet parallel to one another, about hip distance apart. We're going to move into some squats. So on our down, we're going to take the hands right in front of the body. And as you squat, just take your hands down. And as you come, that's going to be the exhale. And then inhale to come up. With the hands up. Exhale, press down. Keep the knees parallel to one another. And inhale, lift up. Keep the heels down on the floor. And hands, arms level. Let's do 2 more. And just go to a height that feels okay for you in your knees and your hips. Good. Come back up. Good. Release the hands and now take the feet out slightly. Heels in, feet out. Your knees are going to track over your feet. So we exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And inhale up. 3 more. Shake that out a bit. And now toes out, heels in touching. Heels in touching, so like a Charlie Chaplin. And as you go down, your heels are going to lift off the floor, but see if you can keep your heels touching. So you'll come down, the heels will lift, keep the heels touching, and then inhale back up. Okay, let's try 5 in total. So that was 1. So we lower and then come back up. If you have any pain, you don't want to do it. If it's, just that you're working and you're doing some harder work, that's okay. But pain in the knees or anywhere, don't do it. Okay. All right. So now that same stance, but wide. Wide legs. Okay. So straddle. We're going to have hands on opposite shoulders. So I'll start by going to the right. So as I bend through my right knee, I'm going to lift my right heel and really push off with my left leg. Then come back to center. Okay, and then just go as deep as feels comfortable for you. So then I start to bend through the left knee, lift my left heel, push off from a straight right leg. Back to center. And the feet need to be pretty wide here. Okay, so bending right knee, pushing off left foot. You might have the heel lift, it might stay down, and then come back up. And then we'll go back and forth. in this lunge. So most athletic endeavors require lunging, squatting, and holding our body weight, right? So here we go, back and forth. Push off that opposite straight leg. Really push off the opposite straight leg. Let's do one more in each direction. Notice what's happening with the opposite straight leg. Can you push with that foot? Really push that, keep that sole of the foot on the floor and push away. Good. Great, you can release your hands. Heel toe your feet in a little bit, come into goddess. And we'll drop, 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 drop. You could start with your hands on your thighs if you need a little bit of a rest. So coming into goddess and dropping down pretty low. Hands at prayer, and then pressing up, straightening the legs, and then dropping down and pressing up and dropping down and pressing up. Okay, and this time we're going to hold. Okay, and we're going to press the hands down and inhale the hands up to the face and press the hands down and inhale the hands up to the face and press the hands down and inhale back up. Keep your patience here as you work your legs. Next time you inhale up, straighten the legs. Release hands to hips. Take your stance a little wider. And then pressing isometrically, pull the legs towards one another as you come into a fold. Great. Hands on a block or hands on the floor. Now bend through your right knee and just draw your left inner thigh over to the right. Back to center, bend through your left knee and draw your right inner thigh over to the left. Go back and forth a couple times this way. And then coming back to center now. Before you lift, press your feet into the floor and isometrically draw your feet towards one another. Like try to draw your inner thighs towards one another with legs straight and then press up. Press up, good, awesome. Heel toe feet together. Come back to the Tadasana. Let's interlace hands behind your head. Okay, and then you're gonna pick up the heels and press the arms up. Exhale, just release heels back down, hands back behind your head. Lift up the heels and press the arms up, the palms towards the ceiling, and exhale, come back down. Okay, just do that a few times. Lift the heels, press the hands up. Release the heels, release the hands behind the head. Next time you press up, take it over in one direction. Lift the heels, side bend, exhale down, hands behind your head. Lift your heels, press in the opposite direction, or press the opposite direction of last time. Come back down, say that again, and lift off your heels, reach over in one direction, come back down, hands to center, then lift the heels, take the opposite. Good. Come back to center. Good. Right, Tadasana at the top of your mat. Okay, inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, as you set your hips back in Utkatasana, bring your hands forward. Hands forward. Set your hips back, 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 back. And then exhale, release to a forward fold, hands to the floor. Then hands to the floor, all the way to the floor, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale to come to your knees and cow. And exhale, round through your back and reach your hips back towards child's pose. Okay, now as you come forward from this child's pose, bend through your elbows and bring your chest as close as possible to the floor until you can slide your legs back and come into a cobra. And then press yourself up, back through cow or back through table, and then exhale, hips back towards child's pose. Bend your elbows, slide your nose or your chest all along the floor until you can come into the baby cobra. Exhale, lower yourself to the floor. Press into your hands, inhale, come up through table. Exhale, take hips back towards child's pose. Bend through your elbows and slide along the floor till you come into cobra. And exhale, release to the floor. Press into your hands, press yourself up, and then come up all the way onto your knees. Great. Take a short stance with your right foot forward. Short stance, so don't have the right foot way out in front. And then come on down into a lunge with your knee all the way forward of your ankle, of your right ankle. Great. Then bend the back toes, lift the back leg, and press your hips back. You might need to move the back foot up slightly and come into pyramid. And then both feet together. You're in the forward fold. Bend through your knees, take your hips back, Utkatasana. Really see if you can come low in this squat. Squeeze an imaginary block between your legs. Then exhale, release your hands to the floor, forward fold. Hands all the way to the floor, step back to downward dog. Squeeze your legs, muscle to bone. And inhale, come to cow. Exhale, you might set your knees back a little bit here. Bring your hips back to the child's pose. Hands are flat on the mat. Bend through your elbows as you take your nose or your belly all along your mat. Come into a low cobra. Press into your hands, come through the table and back to child's pose. Bend through your elbows, slide your nose, your chest along your mat so you can come into cobra. Press yourself back, child's pose. And then on your next inhale, you back up onto your knees. Bring your left foot forward. And lunge forward. Allow that knee just to come forward of the ankle. You can rest your hands on your thigh. Then hands down to the floor. Turn the back toes under, lifting the back leg. And then press your hips back and shorten your stance. Come into pyramid. Back foot about 2.5 feet, 2 feet away from the front foot. Let your head relax. Then bring your right foot to your left foot now, forward fold. Bend through your knees, set your hips back, reach your arms forward, Utkatasana. Press yourself up to standing. Take your time. Come into Tadasana. Okay, so now open up your stance to the long edge of the mat. We'll take the right foot forward, lined up with the outer edge of the mat, and the left heel out. We're going to Trikonasana. So in the same way, let's actually do this. We'll bend through the front knee. As you bend through the front knee, press into the back foot. So you press into the back foot, right? Then straighten that front leg. Keep pressing into the back foot. The back leg is really strong in Trikonasana, really strong. So it's that same action we did when we were doing a little warm up, going side to side. So back leg really strong, and then reach front side ribs coming to your shin, your thigh, your ankle, your block. Left hand on your hip. What's happening with the back leg? Really keep pressing into that back leg, and then we rotate the belly. Rotate the belly. Top hand to the shoulder. Stacking shoulders in Trikonasana. Back leg really active, really strong. Bend through your front knee to come through Warrior Two. You can see all these actions we practiced isolated. Now they fit into the poses. Then press your legs straight, bring your hands above your head, and through center, we'll turn our feet. We'll go to the other side. So left front foot lines up with the outer edge of the mat. Turn the back heel out. And you can start with that front leg bent as you really press into the back leg. Press into the back leg. Really strengthen the back leg. Good. Then you can straighten the front leg. Side body comes forward. Reach your hand down. What's happening with the back leg? Really strong back leg. Really press into that heel. Let's bring fingertips to the shoulder. Scoot belly towards the camera. Then you can stack top arm. Stack top arm. Trikonasana, back leg really strong. And from here, bend through the front leg. Press, 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 press yourself up through the Warrior Two. And then hands together, feet turn. Exhale, hands through the heart center, right to the hips, and take that fold again. Hands to the floor or block. Bend through the right knee, draw the left inner thigh over in that direction. Back through center, bend through the left knee, draw the right inner thigh in that direction. Back to center. Now press into your feet and isometrically bring them towards one another. Draw everything in. Draw the feel of the inner legs working, and feel how easy that is to come up. You press yourself up, but you're really using the legs to do that. Really using the legs to do that. Good. Then we'll heel toe the feet together, shake out the legs a bit, and we're going to come into Garudasana legs. So you could have a block here. We've done this many times with the block. Or not, the block is just to help your balance. So with the block beside your left foot, You can bend your knees, wrapping right over left, and just have the right foot touching on the block. Squeezing the legs together, okay? If you're not using the block, just bend through the legs and wrap right foot over left. Maybe the foot comes behind. And just do the legs right now. You can just keep your arms at your hips or at your heart center as you squeeze your legs in. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Really feel the work of the standing outer hip. You want to add the arms. You've got the right leg on top. It's the right arm underneath. Squeezing arms together or crossing at the arms. And then unwind arms, unwind legs. Shake out legs, walk around your space. We'll take the other side. Again, you can use the block for your balance. It's really nice to help you balance. We're just working on strength today with the eye towards more stability, but you can have your block on the right foot, lowering, wrapping left leg on top, just setting your left foot on the block. There we go, squeezing the legs. If you don't want the block, wrapping the foot all the way around behind the calf, and your legs will go over to the right. We're not lining up knees in the center of the chest, and dropping hips, squeezing legs together. Squeeze, 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 hands to heart center. Squeezing legs, keep the squeeze going. Your life depends on it here, squeezing the legs. If you want to add the arms, you've got left leg on top now, you can bring left arm underneath, either just hug or bind. Unwind the arms, unwind the legs, shake out the legs, move around your space. Come to downward dog. Come to downward dog. Bend through the knees and hover, hover, hover. Take the tops of your thighs back, 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 back. Re-extend the legs. Good. Now from here, bring the left foot in towards the center of your mat and inhale your right leg up. Bend through your elbows and bring your nose down towards the mat and press back up. Bend through your elbows just a couple inches and press back up. You could do the same thing on, you could take both feet back to the mat, take left knee to the floor, just lift the right and bend through your elbows and press back up. So you can do it from the knee position, kneeling position, or from the standing position. Good. And then last one. Good, right leg down, feet wide. Bend through your knees, hover, hover, hover. Take the tops of the thighs back, re-straighten legs. Bring the right foot in or bring the right knee to the floor. Inhale, left leg up. Bend through your elbows and take a little dip. Take a look at your hands. Make sure your hands are level with one another. So you'll bend through your elbows. Press back up any amount. Then left foot back to the floor, wide stance with your downward dog. Bend through your knees, take the top of your thighs back, re-extend the legs. Next inhale, come down to your knees in cow. Good. And then you start to lift up. We're going to bring, let's start with the left hand so you can see me. I think I'm going to bring my left hand back behind, tops of the feet to the floor, back behind me. Turn my fingers towards the right side, press myself up into sort of a back bend, one-handed here, pressing off the knees, good. Then I'll come back down, setting hips to heels, bring my right hand behind me, turn my fingers to the left and press up, reaching left hand up and over. Back down, come back to all fours. Take a few rounds of cat-cow here. Good, and then forearms to the floor or fingers interlaced. Turn toes under, press up into dolphin or forearm prep. Bend through your knees, drop, take the top of the thighs back, re-extend. Then you can come forward. So we're trying to put shoulders over elbows. Squeeze the legs. Now can you go knee, your nose to your thumbs, press back up. Nose to your thumbs, press back up. Nose to your thumbs, press back up. As many more times as feels like supportive to you. Be in the, just holding the press. Great, then come down to your knees, keeping the forearms on the floor. And slide right arm underneath left, coming into a twist. Slide the right arm underneath the left. Left hand can reach forward or rest on your sacrum or take a pine. So you can reach all the way around to your right thigh. And then left hand beside your head, press up, take the opposite direction. Back to center and then come right down to your belly. Forehead on the floor, tops of palms into the floor. Press the floor with your palms. Just feel the lift of your upper arm bones, so you're not lifting your head and shoulders. Then lift your arms off the ground. Keep the tops of your feet pressing into the floor. Keep your forehead on the floor. Turn your palms in to face one another and squeeze an imaginary block. Squeeze your buttocks. Tops of the feet press into the floor. And then release your arms back to your side. Turn one cheek or one temple to the floor. You could lightly rock your hips back and forth, bend your knees. We'll do one more of those. So turning other cheek, temple to the floor. Then we have forehead to the floor, palms into the floor. Lift the head of the arm bones. Lift the head of the arm bones. Press your hands into the floor, firmly into the floor. Feel the work between your shoulder blades. Now lift hands. Lift your hands higher than your elbows. Squeeze shoulders. Press pubic bone into the floor. Press tops of feet into the floor. Great, come on, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Every day, these back exercises probably really necessary for us. Then you'll bend through your elbows, bring your hands beside your lower ribs, press yourself up. And slowly bring your hips back towards your heels. Take a little waggle, right to left. And then transition from here on to your back. You could take a core lower if you want by doing a hip balance, taking hands behind your thighs and lowering yourself down. Good. Let's stack knees over, hips and arms out to the side, and just move right to left. Just enough to feel engagement in your obliques. Don't let the knees fall all the way. Just moving side to side. Really should feel a lot of heat in your core right now. Good. And then now you can sort of open up the knees, let the knees come down. Open up, inhale up, knees are wide, and just let your knees move back and forth. Let them fall to the floor. And then next time you're in either direction, resting there and twisting. So if the knees are to the right, you can take your right hand to the outer left thigh. And if you are so inclined, you could straighten the legs. Taking care as you inhale, top leg first, maybe back and forth a few times before you go to the opposite side to twist. So now knees come to the opposite side, knees stay bent, arms are at the T, you're in a twist, or if you're so inclined, you can bring the legs straight, stacked on one another. A little more difficult in some bodies. Very good. Giving this side as much love as the other. The trick of equal time on both sides. And inhaling back to center. Maybe you'd like a figure four. Maybe you're ready right for Shavasana. Take a few minutes to settle into your Shavasana. And letting all effort go now. Really finding that nice balance. Now you're letting all effort go. Let your eyes be soft. Ears are soft, skin relaxed. Notice if you're in a hurry. Can you give yourself the gift of the stillness for just a few more breaths? Trusting the wisdom of your body to nourish you here in this stillness. And like always, you could stay as long as you want, and we'll wrap up honoring the time. Just finding your right side if you'd like to roll to one side, or slowly moving yourself up to the seat. And we're staying in Shavasana. With intention, bringing hands together at heart center. And may the merit of our practice encourage all beings to unveil the hidden brilliance that lies within. The work starts now when we leave the mat. This is the laboratory. Go through the rest of your day with that effort and ease mixed together, the knowing of your body, the wisdom of your body. Namaste.